It's now 6:30 a.m. and I'm off to the bus terminal to head up to Seoul to shoot some videos for you guys. Okay, so I was planning on taking the bus, but when I got there the bus was sold out. I didn't have time to wait for the next one, so I decided to hop on the speed train. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's actually faster, and I need to get there right away as soon as I can to meet up with Alex, who's going to be helping me today. Anyway, I was thinking I could get some editing done here on the train, but it turns out there's no power outlet in the car that I'm riding in. I don't want to drain out my computer battery in case I need it later, so I guess I'm just going to sleep for a couple hours until we arrive in Seoul. Alright, so we're here in Seoul at the Gundam Base. There's actually, I think maybe 6 or 7 Gundam bases throughout Korea. They're basically Bandai's branch of stores that are scattered throughout basically just the big cities. There's 2 here in Seoul. Here in Yongsan is basically kind of like Korea's Akihabara, where it's like the electronics center of Korea. And so we're gonna try to go inside, but I'm not sure if they're gonna let us film in there for very long. So just want to show you guys a little bit of the outside of the store first before we go in. They've got a pretty good selection, but the price is a little bit high here. Some of the other stores are a little bit better, which we'll go to next. But the one thing that is cool here is that they do have a lot of stuff on display that you can see before you would buy it, so that's good. So let's take a look at some of the stuff around the outside of the store. Here they've got some of the Gundams on display. These are not painted, just snapped up. I think they're trying to display the HD All Gundam project, so here's some here, and then if we go over here, they've got a TV playing some stuff about build fighters, and then on this side, some more of the HD Gundams for the All Gundam project. They do have some painted models on display, I'll show you in a minute, but it's nice that they have them here on display unpainted, so it's kind of like you can see what you're getting right out of the box. That's good for people to check out before they want to buy. Here's something else pretty cool. I'm pretty sure these are not for sale, but we've got a Gundam beam rifle and a Zaku Heat Hawk here in guitar form. Those are pretty cool. And over here, there's a Zaku themed bike. That's pretty cool too. I guess just for a promotional display only. And here inside, when we go in, we'll try to take a look at that. But they've got some stuff on display for Gundam Front Tokyo. Some of the items that are like only for sale. Like special stuff for the art of Gundam and things like that that are just... I don't really know why they have them on display here because you can't actually buy them. You'd have to go to Gundam Front Tokyo, but at least you can see what the stuff looks like. So let's try to go inside now. Okay, here inside, they've got everything pretty well separated into different grades and different series. So like, for example, here is all the real grade stuff, and then basically along the other shelves and along the back wall is all separated by series. So like, here starting with First Gundam, and then as it goes across over there, it's going into the different series. And then this section here in the middle is all for Gundam Build Fighters. And then over there's a section just for Reconquista and G. And then there's a section just for SD. So let's take a look around and see some of the different sections here. Okay, here's the stuff from Gundam Front Tokyo. You can see some of the different versions of the Phoenix and different versions of the Gundams and all of that stuff. It's pretty cool, but like I said, you can't actually buy anything here, so let's take a look over here. Alright, here in the first corner they've got all of the perfect grade stuff. They do actually have quite a lot of perfect grade unicorns in stock right now, so that's a little bit surprising. And then here on these racks, all of the HG stuff for Seed and Seed Destiny. And then here on this side is the 00. And then behind you, all along the back wall, is basically all the master grades. So it's starting here. We've got the master grade 3.0. And just to give you an idea of the price, if you bring the camera here, we can see this costs 54,000 won. So that's basically something like $50 US. It's a little bit expensive when you consider the list price is 4,500 yen. So that's basically like $40. So it's basically like $10 above the list price. And then here they've got some of the other stories with less HG in them. Like for example, there's some Gundam X HGs here, and then the Turn A Gundam is there. Back on this side it's now moving into some of the Zeta master grades, Zeta Cubile, and more Cubile. And then here we got some Char's Counterattack MGs. Over here, on this side, we've got all the HGs for Victory Gundam, and F91, Crossbone, and then Thunderbolt down here. There's those. And then on this side, it's all, looks like Zeta, Double Zeta. There's some Advance of Zeta there. And that's pretty much it here. And here's all the build fighter stuff. It's all separated in this section here. We do have quite a lot of it because I think it's really popular in Korea right now, so they're stocking quite a bit of it. And then there on the back wall, you can see is all of the RE kits. There's not really all that many of them. And then there are some mega size kits there as well. Here is the RX-78 Starter Set 2. I actually just got one of these from my sponsor. If you guys saw in a recent video, I told you that I was sponsored. And in that video, they asked me to do kind of an introduction to Gunpla, so you should be seeing me working on that kit pretty soon in a video for their channel, so be sure to check that out later. Okay, and here's the space for Reconquista and G, but we don't really care about that. And then behind there is a section for high-grade unicorn kits. And then in the back, we'll take a look at the master grade unicorn kits there, because they do have some kind of tools and paints and stuff here, but not a whole lot. So why don't we go take a look at some of that stuff. So if you come here, here's some of the spray paints that they have. As you can see, it's only a few, and they do have a few different kinds of top coat and surfacer there as well. And then for the extra parts, you can see they have basically just a bunch of the HG Builders parts, because this is basically a Bandai store, so they're not going to carry like anything else like Kotobuki or anything like that, kind of option parts. Other stores have that, and we'll see some of that later. And then here's all the master grade unicorn kits. As you can see, the very shiny Phoenix there. Really like to get one of those. Here's all the HG Age kits here, and then on the other side is basically where it starts to get into SD. It's first going with like a lot of like the Musha stuff, and then on the other side it gets into like the Universal Century, and the other Century is kind of SD kits. And here on this side is master grades for Wing series, and then there's some 00 master grades and like the Musha Gundam and stuff here. If you take a look over here. And then down there on the bottom is the Turn A and the Turn X, the X and the XX there as well. And then here you can see is where they've got some of the Universal Century SDs along there. Quite a good selection. I might actually be doing a build-off where we're going to be building an SD sometime in the near future. So I'll talk more about that later. And then here they do have some other figures and stuff. And then on this wall, some of the other kind of model kits produced by Bandai, like here's a bunch of Yamato kits, and there's some other different kind of anime series model kits, basically just anything that's produced by Bandai. Okay, the last thing I want to show you guys here in the store is that they've got a few Build Fighters kits here on display, because they've got a building station here where if you just buy a kit and you just want to snap it up before you leave, you can build that here on the tables. It's kind of nice because it's nice and air conditioning here. I guess if you're a parent here with your kids and they're really excited to get their hands on their model, you could do that here. So it's kind of nice that they have that here in this space, that they could have easily used this space just for selling more stuff, but they have it kind of set aside for building. And I'm pretty sure all the Gundam bases in Korea have an area for building like this. I'm pretty sure. I haven't been to all of them, so I'm not sure about that, but anyway. Alright, one thing I didn't notice before, I think this is new, is that here on this back wall they've got a display of Bandai stuff. It's pretty cool to see some of this stuff. I have a handful of the kits from this display here, but it's really cool to see some of the kits that I passed on. There's actually some of them that, like, now I can see them in real life. I kind of wish that I would have got them, but there's some pretty cool stuff of that. I'll be sure to give you a shot of all of these kits so you can see what some of these Bandais look like. That pretty much does it for the Gundam base. As you can see, quite a lot of stuff here. It's definitely exciting, definitely going to be probably better than a lot of other hobby stores in other countries, but there is better options here in Seoul, so why don't we go to the other side of the city and take a look at some of those. Alright guys, so that does it for part 1 of the Gunpla shopping in Seoul videos. That was Gundam Base. It's a really cool store. But I just want to let you guys know that there is going to be an extra video that's going to be coming up next, where basically it's just going to be a whole lot more video that I shot there at the Gundam Base, where you can see just more of the models. There, the models that are for sale, and then the models that they have on display as well. So that video is going to be coming up next, and there's 3 more shops that we're going to be visiting. So a few more videos yet in this Gundam shopping, Gunpla shopping in Seoul series. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. A couple last things I wanted to add that I forgot to say in the video while we were there is that just outside of that store there are 2 other stores that are actually quite interesting, one of which I'll show you here. This is just another small shop just outside of the Gundam base, and I believe it's mostly a shop selling mostly Stylex brand products. Now Stylex is just another kind of brand like Tamiya or whatever, and they just sell kinds of supplies, different modeling supplies, things like that. This little shop also sells a bunch of paint and a bunch of stuff for like making dioramas and stuff like that, so it's pretty cool. And then also just around the corner from there, just across from the Gundam base, kind of actually is a whole Tamiya store. So the Tamiya store as well also of course is going to sell a lot of excellent Tamiya products. It's a great place to buy supplies, although you might see in a later episode that some other shops might actually be a little bit better for supplies. But if you're going there to go to Gundam Base, you are able to get some really nice Tamiya supplies just across the way. They have some paint as well. Of course, it's mostly Tamiya spray can paint for the most part, and they have a lot of the Tamiya enamels as well, but not a lot of like things for airbrushing, unless you airbrush enamels, but not a lot for airbrushing lacquers or acrylics or whatever. And then of course they have a lot of Tamiya models, ships and airplanes and even dinosaurs and all that other kind of stuff, and a lot of stuff there for like RC cars and racing cars and stuff like that. So that store is pretty cool. And then a couple things about Gundam Base that I forgot to mention is that although the prices there are a little bit higher, the advantage of Gundam Base is that they have a pretty cool point system and a stamp card system. Now, I'm pretty sure for both of those you have to make a Bandai account there at the store, and in order to do that you have to give your name, address, and phone number. And I believe, pretty certain that your phone number and address have to be somewhere here in Korea. So if you're just visiting there, just on vacation or something, I'm pretty sure you might not be able to get that. So maybe take a Korean friend along if you can find one, and maybe have them help you. If you're planning on buying a lot, if you just want to buy a couple things, then I would say don't even bother going to the Gundam Base unless you just really want to see it. Some other later stores I think are going to be better for you, but if you do want to buy a lot, you might want to think about taking advantage of some of the point systems that they have at Gundam Base. So maybe take a Korean friend with you or something like that. So basically what it is you can get stamp cards for one, where like if you buy something like 8 or 9 high-grade kits, then you can get one for free, or like I think maybe 7 master grade kits, then you can get the 8th one for free, something like that. So those are pretty cool, but again, like I said, if you're going to be buying a lot, it's basically working a lot better for those of you who are actually living in the country. So if you're living here, it works great, but just traveling, again, not really that good unless you're going to really buy a lot. So anyway, aside from that, they also have their point system where you can get points, and I think it's basically like 1 point for every
101, I want to say, if that sounds right. Anyway, it works out pretty well, but again, it's mostly for those people who are going to actually be living here and going there quite regularly. Then it's a good way to, just as you're buying, you accumulate those points, and then every so often you can use those points basically to buy something like an action base or just another like small HG kit or something like that. So those do come in handy at times. And the last thing about Gundam Base is just going to be that they do have a nipper rental service. Like I showed you that there was the space to build your kits. If you don't have any nippers and you want to rent some nippers there, you are able to do that using your Bandai card that you make. So if you go there and you want to assemble something there and you don't have any nippers on you, if you have made that account, if you have made that card, then you can use that card. Basically you just give them your card and then they give you the nippers as a kind of collateral, and you can use the nippers whatever, and then when you're ready to leave you just give them back and they give you back your card and you can go home with your completed model kit. Now just want to let you guys know some of that information. Again, I'm sorry it's not very helpful for those of you who are just going to be going there, just maybe on vacation or something, but that is all I want to say about the Gundam Base. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the series. The next video is going to be pretty cool, just a lot more extra stuff there around the shop. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon.